What can Amazon and Yelp teach you about networking? Today I'm going to tell you. I'm Greg, I'm the introverted networker, and today I'm talking about 5-star reviews and how you can create your own personal 5-star review of yourself through networking. When we talk about Amazon or Yelp, or really any website where people leave reviews about a restaurant or a product, what we see is people go in and they tell you what they think and they give you 1 to 5 stars. And of course, everybody wants to get a 5-star review. If you're reading through the products or you're reading through the restaurants and you see something with a 5-star review, you think to yourself, hey, that must be a great place to go eat, or that might be a great product to buy. This can translate into networking. But before I get into that, I want to talk a little bit about Amazon, Yelp, these websites that you leave reviews on, because in all aspects of our life, in many aspects of our life, we will take the opinions of people we don't even know if they're on one of these websites and use that to make buying decisions. We read what they think about the product and we see how many stars they gave it. And we use that to factor into whether we're going to buy something or not. We don't even know these people. They're strangers. They're on a website. We don't even know if these reviews are real. But we've been conditioned to use this star rating system to determine whether it's worth buying or not. Before these websites were around, for those of us who are old enough to remember that, if you needed to find a mechanic to service your car, or you needed an accountant, or you needed a doctor, what did you do? You didn't have some website that you could go look this up on. What you did is you asked your parents or your brother or sister or your aunt and uncle or your friends and neighbors. You asked the people around you, hey, who do you use to fix your car? Or hey, which doctor you go to? Or who does your taxes? We used to ask people we knew more for referrals or recommendations. We used to ask them who they used and if they thought that person was good. And we used all of that information to figure out if we were going to use that person. And we do that because we're getting the opinion of somebody we know and we trust. We're basically saying if it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. And that takes some of the guesswork out of whether or not we should use the person, whether we should not, or whether or not we should buy the service. Because that makes the decision easier for us. We don't have to do a lot of research on the person or ask a bunch of questions to that doctor or to that mechanic. We don't have to do a lot in order to make the decision because we're using somebody we know and trust in order to do that. It's the exact same thing when it comes to networking. Whether you're searching for a job or looking for new business, your ultimate goal, and I talked about ultimate goals in the previous episode, your ultimate goal is to get introduced or referred to the person who's making the buying decision. If you're searching for a job, the hiring manager, the person who you're going to work for, that's the person who is making the buying decision. You need to make sure that when they go to make that buying decision, you're the person that they think of, or you're the person who's been referred to them. Because in essence, just like when you ask for your mechanic or your doctor, or your accountant, when that hiring manager is saying who would be good for this position, you want all the people around them or the people they know to say your name. You want to get referred. Just as though you were running a business. That's what you would want to go for. These days, we go look at Amazon, we look at the products, and we look for the 5-star reviews. So now we'll trust strangers to tell us about that. It doesn't really change what we're trying to do for networking, but what you want to shoot for is you want somebody to give the hiring manager who's making the decision on the position a 5-star review of you. You want to get people talking about you and talking about you in a good way so that all of the anxiety and uncertainty that person, the hiring manager, has about making this hiring decision, all of that goes away because somebody they know and trust, or maybe know a little bit, trust a little bit, has said, you are the person they should hire. You are the one who has the 5-star review. If they're looking at all the other candidates in the pile and they were to have star ratings on the top of their resumes, yours would have a 5-star rating because they already have heard about you. They know and trust the person that referred you. That's what you want to get to with your networking. That's your ultimate goal. So think about what you can do to get the people you know to give you a 5-star review and to give it to that person who's doing the hiring. I'm going to acknowledge this is not easy to do. This is not something you just go out today and find somebody who knows the hiring manager and say, hey, give me a 5-star review. Just like if somebody came to you after you bought the product, as they often do, you get emails from the company you bought it from that says, hey, rate our product. We'd really love to know what you think. And in a lot of cases, maybe you do, maybe you don't, maybe you ignore it because you don't really know the company. I mean, you bought something from them and maybe you like the product, but you don't really know them very well. You don't know if the product is going to work long term, so you're hesitant to give that review yet. It's the same sort of thing. You can't just go out to somebody and say, hey, I need a 5-star review so that I can get in front of the hiring manager. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take some effort. It's going to take tapping into the people that you already know and trying to get connected with other people who are closer to that hiring manager who's making that decision. I'm talking about a job search here. This could be in business too. If you've got a company you're pursuing and you want to take them on as a client for whatever business you're running, you're going to have to get closer to them in terms of people so that the people you know can say, hey, if you're ever looking for blank, whatever it is you do, Greg's the right person for you. He's the person for the job because you know them. They know what you can do. They feel comfortable in your services. Let's be honest here. You have to be really good at what you do. If you're not good at what you do, no matter who you know or how you get introduced to somebody, if they can't say this is the person for you, it's not really going to put you ahead. It might get you referred. It might get you the courtesy of an interview, but you really want to come into this with the 5-star review. Let me tell you a little bit story about when this happened to me. And this was before I even started thinking about 5-star reviews. I was interviewing for a job. This was about 12 years ago. I'd gotten laid off the first time. I had gotten referred into this position I was interested in because I had networked. I had talked to a lot of people. I had told them what I was looking at. When this position came up, I had asked the people I knew who were connected to this company, who do you know? And they had somebody that they passed my information along to, and I got referred. That helped me get in the door for the interview. So number one, having a referral is always going to help you skip the line. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Skipping the line, if you know somebody and they can get you into the interview, you jumped right in front of all these other people. But that was the referral, and that's something you should go for. But when I was in the interview, and I didn't plan this, but it kind of happened, and it kind of highlighted to me that you could create this sort of situation if you're interviewing or searching for a job. In the interview, the person I was interviewing with, who was going to do the hiring, who was going to become my future boss, asked me a question. She said, who have you worked with in this industry in town? And I told her truthfully who I had been working with. And turns out she went and talked to that person. Now, I wasn't name dropping. I really did know this person. And this person knew I was looking for a job because I had networked with them. This person knew that I was interviewing with this company because I had kept them up to date and let them know. When she called him and said, what do you think of Greg? He said, he's great. I've worked with him before here and here and here, and I would love to work with him again. He'll be a great addition to your team. For that hiring manager, that was it. She didn't need to hear any more because she already interviewed me and it went okay. I think it went well, but she probably just wanted to make sure. And when she went to this individual, he gave me a 5-star review. He gave me a 5-star review because, yes, we had worked together. Yes, we had stayed connected over the years. Yes, he knew I was interviewing. And yes, he knew that I could do the job because I had done the job before and I worked with him. All of those factors came because I stayed connected with him, because I let him know what was going on in my job search. And he wasn't shocked, or it wasn't out of the blue to have somebody call and ask him about me in the process of interviewing for this job. And he was able to give me that 5-star review. That hiring manager knew this person, trusted him. All of a sudden, she's saying, I don't really have any doubts about Greg. I'll probably go and hire him. And she did. She hired me. You can create those sort of situations in your job search or your business development by connecting with people and having these conversations, by keeping all those ties alive that you've made over the years, by getting back in touch with them and telling them what's going on with you, by letting them know what companies you're interested in, by just keeping them up to date. And the other thing you can do with this is, if you're interviewing, at some point, most companies are going to say, who are your references? And those references better be people that you talk to about interviewing with this company. You want those references to give you a 5-star review when they call to check on it. You want them to know you were interviewing with this company. You want them to know you put them down as a reference. And you want to tell them all the things you're going to talk about in the interview. And that way, when somebody does check your references, whether the ones you listed or other people you brought up in the interview, they're going to say the same things you said about what you're good at, what you can do, why you can do this job. And they're going to give you that 5-star review. The 5-star review takes away all the doubt. It takes away the uncertainty in the hiring manager's mind. It makes it easy for them to make the decision because they know the risk went down. The risk goes away because if, for whatever reason, you don't work out in the job, they can always go back to their boss or whoever they're working with and say, the guy came with a 5-star review. I don't know what happened. He was highly recommended. Everybody said he should be great at the job. And then that fear is gone. Like they're not going to have to worry about whether or not they made the right decision. They're going to say, other people gave me feedback and information, so I could make that decision. If it went badly, it's not because I missed something in the interview. So that's why you're trying to get the 5-star review. And like I said, that only comes by trying to connect with people who are close to this hiring manager or this company or people that work there, people who are going to say your name in a very positive light whenever the question comes up, hey, do you know this person? What do you think about them? I think they're great. I would give them a 5-star review. That's what you should be going for, whether it's business development, job search, connecting. If you're thinking, why am I networking? You are networking so that everybody who hears your name says, I would totally give that guy, I would totally give that woman, I would totally give that person a 5-star review. That's what you're going for. That's how you should go into your networking. That's the goal you should be pursuing. I hope that opens your eyes a little bit to this and gives you a better framework to think about this and gives you some direction with your networking. So go out this week, give it a shot, focus on that. I hope you meet some interesting people. Remember, always be connecting.